film's mission is to raise $1 million for the American Cancer Society. We've been doing that by having everybody work, volunteer, nobody was paid, from the actors, the musicians, to the producer, myself. Everybody's doing this pro bono.
No one gets paid. Nobody in this film got paid. Not Scott, not me, not any of the camera crew, not anyone. It all goes to ACS, everything, and I can't really stress that from dime one.
This is such a grassroots kind of a thing. Just people who, most of the people who really don't have a whole experience level in film or film production. You know, it's people who, oh, you're doing it for the American Cancer Society? Yeah, I'll help out. How do I do that?
I wanted him to get it done no matter what anybody said. If somebody thought it couldn't get done, or if he even thought it couldn't get done, I wanted to see it done because it was for the American Cancer Society. That's
more proceeds going to, you know, a foundation that every day has more and more technology, more and more knowledge, more and more, you know, everything about saving people's lives from, you know, it's like one of the biggest killers, you know, of humans is cancer.
Which has been a tremendous, you know, giant or dragon, so to speak, in the lives of so many people. And if we can do a small part in defeating cancer, then we will have done a great thing.
I would work on any film that helps contribute to the American Cancer Society, because cancer is just
something that's touched everybody. If you haven't had it, more than likely you know somebody who has.
I had a lot of family that passed away from cancer.
A mother, a cousin.
My mom to cancer, my uncle to cancer.
I have a lot of members of my church who have suffered with cancer.
An aunt, a couple of grandparents.
There's a girl that, you know, was very, very special to me, and she's actually outside the room right now, who had brain cancer when she was 19, and she was a survivor of that. And, you know, every time I worked on this film, you know, I would think of her.
It's very heavily affected my family and our systems of life.
It's something that's, you know, near and dear to a lot of people, myself included, and it's a disease that needs a good kick in the teeth to be put out of commission. Basically, it's the same model I used when I was in high school. You know, when your first movies you make, you get a bunch of friends together and say, hey, let's make a movie. You know, and you get together, nobody's got a budget, nobody's got anything, it's just, oh, I got a piece of paper, let me write out a script. You know, and it's basically a high school film on steroids in terms of the production model.
That was one of the things that really drew me to this, the fact that Scott was doing this with no budget. And I think it's important for people to understand this is not a low-budget film, it's a no-budget film, and there's a difference.
We've done something nobody's ever been able to do before. We've done a feature film, period piece, completely on donations, all volunteer-based, and it's a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society.
We made calls to the different places asking for donations, and they were all willing to help.
The model, for the most part, works real well. You get dedicated volunteers who believe in the project.
Myself, I was 7-day weeks working on sets or pieces of it or figuring out or phone calls or whatever, as well as a number of other people who were like that as well.
Volunteers can be very passionate. It's not just punching a clock and getting in and doing their job. We've had several of our volunteers who have put in 20+ hours a day.
Honestly, I think if you're doing something that you love and you know you're having fun and you're having a blast, compensation should be, you know, the last thing that you think about.
It's fun for people, even when it's not fun. You know, they'll put in a hard day, which is why they call it work, but at the same time feel at the end of the day, you know what, I don't need to be paid for this because I really feel like I've done something of great value.
I think it shows people that if you want it bad enough, if you believe enough in what you're doing, then you can accomplish your goals.
I need to have you, suddenly it's like a surge of adrenaline that, hey, I feel good now, I'm home, the trip is over.
You know, I think it's great if somebody can Do something that tremendous. It just gives me hope that there's other people out there that can do projects like this.
I don't know, I guess I think that yeah, maybe it's hopeful to a certain point that yes, we were able to do it. People did come together and we made it happen.
Because they believe in what we're doing and realize that, you know, while it may be uncomfortable for right now, that there's people out there uncomfortable to the point of dying with this disease.
I've known Scott Wegener for years. I worked with him on other projects. Scott is very passionate. He loves what he does, and whenever he calls me, you know, I'm say, yeah, you know, it's great working with you. I'll get on board. All he has to do is ask.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a great producer, good director, and he definitely does have. He has the eye. You know, he has a great eye.
It was really cool to learn from somebody who has been recognized to that degree.
Scott is tenacious. Scott is serious. He's a craftsman. He gives attention to detail, and so I think everything I would have thought a director would be, Scott was.
He's very dedicated and a very nice person. He makes the set a lot of fun too.
Okay, I'm sorry, just one more hit.
Scott is he's very, very, very fast-paced guy. You have to keep up with him. You have to stay ahead of him, actually, I think.
He works just as hard as we do. There was no kind of, you know, we're working on this and he was off doing this or doing that. You know, he was in there doing it with us each day, every day. You know, getting dirty and putting stuff together, building stuff, and painting or staining or mudding, whatever. You know, he was as involved as any of the rest of us were.
To do a no-budget film, I think the secret is a director who really believes that it can be done. It starts with Scott's belief that it could be done, and he did it. You need somebody who believes that there are no obstacles to bringing a product like this to fruition.
Well, were you asleep over there?
How was Scott as a director?
He sucked. God, I would never work with him.